Welcome everyone. I hope you are guys having a great time. Hope you're doing well. Well, if I start in this fashion, I'm sure that all of you would leave. Oh my God. Good evening, folks. It's an absolute delight to have you this evening. Wow. Welcome to the Instaclass by Amity Online. And if I happen to start in the same manner where I say that, welcome everyone. It's an absolute delight to be here with all of you. I'm sure that you all would leave by now. The reason is that the first few seconds of any session are really important. Just imagine that whenever you go for any kind of presentation or any kind of session, it's really important that for the first few seconds, you grab the attention. Yes, you grab the attention. In this world where attention is such a scarce commodity, you as a communicator, you as a public speaker need to ensure that you grab the attention. Yes, you grab the attention. Else, no matter you have the best structure, you have the best command or the vocabulary or whatever, it's really important that you grab the attention of the audience in the first few seconds. I often see people, whenever they would open up their speech, they are dull, they are boring, they are low on energy, and energy is contagious. Today, as we connect remotely, and as you would connect remotely wherever you work across the globe, it's your energy that can reach out across the globe. So play on the energy, play on the energy. Now let's understand that how can we open the speech? How many of you would like to know that, Divas? Tell me, how can I open the speech so that I can grab everyone's attention? How many of you want to learn that? Yes, I want to learn, Divas, how to open the speech. Type in I want to. Let me know, folks. Oh my God, that's good. The turnabout here. Yeah, let me know. How many of you would like to know that? How can I open my speech so that I get everyone's attention and everyone is completely hooked so as to what I say? People are waving me. I wave you back. Welcome. All right. That's a good response. All right. Fair enough. Now, there's a great technique which I share, and this is gonna be really helpful for you wherever you go. The technique is really simple. It's a template. For example, if I say, how many of you have fear of public speaking? Just type in I. If you have fear of public speaking, just type in I. Okay. Go ahead. All right. How many of you want to speak on a stage which is grand, which is big? Type in me. If you have that dream to speak on a stage like that, the bigger one, type in me. Let me see how many of you are dreamers out here. How many of you are like that? Yes, I want to be on that stage, Divas. Just type in me. Oh, that's interesting. It's a unanimous I, unanimous me. Oh, nice. And how many of you want to grow in your career by show of hands? If you want to grow in your career, raise your hands high up in the air. Yes, do that. I love the response. Awesome. Now, what you just saw, I was trying to ask you those questions to which you would say yes. I call them as yes questions. Now, these 3 questions were asked deliberately because the answers to these questions were obviously a yes. That yes, I do have a fear of public speaking because across the globe, people do have this fear. The second question, that how many of you want to speak on a big stage? That's also a dream for all those who wish to be an effective communicator and want to speak on stages. And lastly, that how many of you want to grow in your career? Something which everyone would say, yes, I want to. Now, the technique is that you ask them 3 questions and there's a simple template which you can follow. The template goes something like this, remember. It says, how many of you want to blah, blah, blah by show of hands? I repeat, how many of you want to blah, blah, blah by show of hands? How many of you want to blah, blah, blah by show of hands? Now, this blah, blah, blah can be anything. In my case, it could be, how many of you want to be successful in your career by show of hands? How many of you want to be healthy in life by show of hands? How many of you want to be an amazing public speaker by show of hands? You get this? What is happening, folks, that I am asking you those three questions to which the audience says a yes. The moment they raise their hands, the moment they type in an I or a me, there's an immediate connection. What is it? There's an immediate connection. And that leads to a powerful message being received. Unless and until you do not establish the connection, you will not be able to communicate. So first of all, connect and then communicate. Repeat after me. First of all, connect and then you communicate. Note it down as you watch this session. Now, if you observe, people when they go on the stages, they would open something like this. Good morning, one and all. Welcome to the session of communication skills. My name is Divas. I hope you are having a good time. And the audience is like, oh my God, why I'm watching this man out here? Let me swipe up and move to some other video. But if you're able to engage people, if you're able to hook them by the power of those three questions, trust me, you can easily go ahead and communicate and convince. So connect, communicate and convince. We often have this agenda that I would influence everyone. I would convince the HR. I would convince my so-called partner or the one whom you're trying to date. Even there, the skills of communication would matter. That was my one small bit for all of you to remember, that whenever you go on any stage, remember to connect, then communicate, and then convince. Does it make sense? All the folks out here are having fun. Taking the example of if you date, if you approach anyone, yes, it does matter. It does matter. Your first impression would matter. So I can pick up on like a few questions from all of you. Would love to answer a couple of them before we say bye-bye. I love the concept of Instaclass, whereas it's like bite-sized interaction and brings in bite-sized modules to understand the concepts. Oh yes, thank you so much for joining in, folks. I would pick up a few questions before we say bye-bye. And like Shirin, Ritanjali, Garipali, Nature Lover Point, Neelu, Darshika, Rajesh, Shireen, Jen, Mahesh, and all the folks out here. There are a lot of people out here whom I cannot call out everyone's name. But any question that you have, I can answer it. I know why people are afraid of asking questions in the classroom. You know why? Because the moment you ask questions, everyone is focused on you. You have a doubt. You have a question. You can say, sir, I have a doubt. Ma'am, I have a question. But what do? We just knuckle our friend and say, hey, did you get what he said? Yes? Please explain it to me in the coffee break. Works. Awesome. Doesn't happen, folks. But now is the time for you to ask questions because nobody is watching you. You're just hidden in your room, in your place. Okay. We have a few questions out here. All right. We have the first question by Scorpio Shweta. That's deadly names, Shweta. I love it. I love it. So how to overcome stage fear? Now what happens, Shweta? Whenever we go on the stage, we have an internal communication. Before we even speak a single word, something is going within. What if I goof up? What if I forget the lines? What will everyone say about me? And I have all these internal voices that stops me from expressing myself. Does it happen? Because our focus is not on the message. The focus is on the audience. And that's where we go wrong. You need to go for a self-talk, Shweta. You have to go for a self-talk. When you talk to yourself that, yes, I'm great, I'm phenomenal, I am a champion. I always say that to my students that, whenever you go on the stage, get your internal communication right. We spend a lot of time, a lot of focus on how will I open, how will I speak, how am I looking, and all those things. not realizing that if I am internally strong, if I have this narrative clear in my head that, hey, in these 5 minutes, I'm going to enthrall my audience. I'm going to give them so much of value that they just fall in love with communication skills. Getting it? So sort your internal communication. Remember that you are powerful. Rajeshwari says, that's a lovely short session. Awesome. That's the power of Instaclass. Ashish, thank you so much. Okay, Navcharan says, how to overcome anxiety in public speaking. Navcharan, let's examine that. Why do we have this anxiety? As a researcher, as a public speaking coach, you will realize that what happens whenever you go for public speaking, you have this fear of rejection, fear of not being accepted. Even right now, this is also a format of public speaking. Yes, there may be no physical audience over here, but I have a virtual audience. Even this is a format of public speaking. And I, as a public speaker, may be anxious. What if nobody shows up for my Insta class? What if I don't engage the audience? What if after 5 minutes or in the 5 minutes, everyone leaves? And I saw the number kept on increasing. The number did drop down. Yes, getting it? So, the point is that when you have this fear of being rejected, that the world will not accept me. Why? Because we don't accept our flaws. We are trying to hide that someone will get to know who Navcharan is. Someone would get to know the real Navcharan. Now, you see me as a confident guy who can address and enthrall thousands in the audience. But I wasn't the same Navcharan. I was someone who could not even speak my name properly. I come from Dehradun, a place in Uttarakhand. And in my school days, I could not even speak my name properly. I was like the Divas. That was me. So I was anxious. I was anxious because I wasn't accepting my flaws, my vulnerabilities. And the day I changed the internal narrative that yes, I'm great, I'm phenomenal. And I accept my flaws. I need not be perfect. Navcharan, you need not be perfect. This session may not be perfect. That's completely okay. It's about how you connect, how you communicate, how you convince. That's it. You have these thoughts going in that what if I go wrong? What if you go right? Think about it. Okay, Darshika, how to improve convincing power? Do you mean to say convincing power? Darshika, how can you convince the other person when you are sure yourself? Many a times we ourselves are not sure of ourselves. For example, when you go for an interview, you have these thoughts that, hey, the HR, what if he asks me this question? And if I'm not able to answer this question, what if? So my focus is more on my flaws, more on what I don't know, more on that I haven't prepared, more on my grades are horrible and all those stuff. Rather than that, what am I made up of? What I have to offer. Getting it? So when you are convinced within yourself that yes, I know who I am, I know my worth, you'll be able to convince anyone. That's the power. You cannot sell a product or a service if you're not convinced yourself. Getting it? Okay, we have Mali Chetana. Even after practicing and preparing, but by just one disappointed face, we get distracted. That's why, Chetana, the focus has to be on the message and not on the audience. Yes, you keep an eye on them, but my focus remains on what I have to say. I may see a drop in the number, but should that stop me? Even if there's one person watching me live, I would still continue. I would value that person. Getting it? That should be your focus. That when you are speaking, you're not here that, oh, unless and until I have 1,000 people, only then I would show up. Come on, start small. So if you are disappointed by one disappointed face and you are distracted, you cannot please everyone. You cannot please everyone. Yes or no? Oh yes. A last question for the day. There is someone by SR15I1777. Interesting name, sir. Interesting name. How to connect effectively. Seems you have just joined in. I gave an amazing technique in this video. Do watch it again and let me know what you think about it. That's the power of 3 questions. So, all right, folks, thank you so much for joining. It was a lovely time with all of you. I had an incredible time. I wish I had some more time with you, but that's the format of the session. Thank you so much, Amity Online. Great initiative. More power to you and the team behind it. Look forward to meet you guys again and add some more value. Till then, have fun, stay awesome and stay productive. Bye-bye.